صلوات. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ياسين والقرآن الحكيم إنك لمن المرسلين على صراط مستقيم تنزيل العزيز الرحيم لتنذر قوما ما أنذر آباؤهم فهم غافلون لقد حق القول على أكثرهم فهم لا يؤمنون إنا جعلنا في أعناقهم أغلالا فهي إلى الأذقان فهم مقمحون وجعلنا من بين أيديهم سدا ومن خلفهم سدا فأغشيناهم فهم لا يبصرون وسواء عليهم أأنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون إنما تنذر من اتبع الذكر وخشي الرحمن بالغيب فبشره بمغفرة وأجر كريم إنا نحن نحيي الموتى ونكتب ما قدموا وآثارهم وكل شيء أحصيناه في إمام مبين واضرب لهم مثلا أصحاب القرية إذ جاءها المرسلون إذ أرسلنا إليهم اثنين فكذبوهما فعززنا بثالث فقالوا إنا إليكم مرسلون قالوا ما أنتم إلا بشر مثلنا وما أنزل الرحمن من شيء إن أنتم إلا تكذبون قالوا ربنا يعلم إنا إليكم لمرسلون وما علينا إلا البلاغ المبين قالوا إنا تطيرنا بكم لئن لم تنتهوا لنرجمنكم وليمسنكم منا عذاب أليم قالوا طائركم معكم أئن ذكرتم بل أنتم قوم مسرفون وجاء من أقصى المدينة رجل يسعى قال يا قوم اتبعوا المرسلين اتبعوا من لا يسألكم أجرا وهم مهتدون وما لي لا أعبد الذي فطرني وإليه ترجعون أأتخذ من دونه آلهة إن يردني الرحمن بضر لا تغني عني شفاعتهم شيئا ولا ينقذون إني إذا لفي ضلال مبين إني آمنت بربكم فاسمعون قيل ادخل الجنة قال يا ليت قومي يعلمون بما غفر لي ربي وجعلني من المكرمين وما أنزلنا على قومه من بعده من جند من السماء وما كنا منزلين إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم خامدون يا حسرة على العباد ما يأتيهم من رسول إلا كانوا به يستهزئون ألم يروا كم أهلكنا قبلهم من القرون أنهم إليهم لا يرجعون وإن كل لما جميع لدينا محضرون وآية لهم الأرض الميتة أحييناها وأخرجنا منها حبا فمنه يأكلون وجعلنا فيها جنات من نخيل وأعناب وفجرنا فيها من العيون ليأكلوا من ثمره وما عملته أيديهم أفلا يشكرون سبحان الذي خلق الأزواج كلها مما تنبت الأرض ومن أنفسهم ومما لا يعلمون وآية لهم الليل نسلخ منه النهار فإذا هم مظلمون والشمس تجري لمستقر لها ذلك تقدير العزيز العليم والقمر قدرناه منازل حتى عاد كالأرجون القديم لا الشمس ينبغي لها أن تدرك القمر ولا الليل سابق النهار وكل في فلك يسبحون وآية لهم أنا حملنا ذريتهم في الفلك المشحون وخلقنا لهم من مثله ما يركبون وإن نشأ نغرقهم فلا صريخ لهم ولا هم ينقذون إلا رحمة منا ومتاعا إلى حين وإذا قيل لهم اتقوا ما بين أيديكم وما خلفكم لعلكم ترحمون وما تأتيهم من آية من آيات ربهم إلا كانوا عنها معرضين وإذا قيل لهم أنفقوا مما رزقكم الله قال الذين كفروا للذين آمنوا أنطعم من لو يشاء الله أطعمه إن أنتم إلا في ضلال مبين ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين ما ينظرون إلا صيحة واحدة تأخذهم وهم يخصمون فلا يستطيعون توصية ولا إلى أهلهم يرجعون ونفخ في الصور فإذا هم من الأجداث إلى ربهم ينسلون قالوا يا ويلنا من بعثنا من مرقدنا هذا ما وعد الرحمن وصدق المرسلون إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم جميع لدينا محضرون فاليوم لا تظلم نفس شيئا ولا تجزون إلا ما كنتم تعملون إن أصحاب الجنة اليوم في شغل فاكهون هم وأزواجهم في ظلال على الأرائك متكئون لهم فيها فاكهة ولهم ما يدعون سلام قولا من رب رحيم وامتازوا اليوم أيها المجرمون ألم أعهد إليكم يا بني آدم ألا تعبدوا الشيطان إنه لكم عدو مبين وأن اعبدوني هذا صراط مستقيم ولقد أذل منكم جبلا كثيرا أفلم تكونوا تعقلون هذه جهنم التي كنتم توعدون اصلوها اليوم بما كنتم تكفرون اليوم نختم على أفواههم وتكلمنا أيديهم وتشهد أرجلهم بما كانوا يكسبون ولو نشاء لطمسنا على أعينهم فاستبقوا الصراط فأنى يبصرون ولو نشاء لمسخنا على مكانتهم فما استطاعوا مضيا ولا يرجعون ومن نؤمره ننكسه في الخلق أفلا يعقلون وما علمناه الشعر وما ينبغي له إن هو إلا ذكر وقرآن مبين لينذر من كان حيا ويحق القول على الكافرين أولم يروا أنا خلقنا لهم مما عملت أيدينا أنعاما فهم لها مالكون وذللناها لهم فمنها ركوبهم ومنها يأكلون ولهم فيها منافع ومشارب أفلا يشكرون واتخذوا من دون الله آلهة لعلهم ينصرون لا يستطيعون نصرهم وهم لهم جند محضرون فلا يحزنك قولهم إنا نعلم ما يسرون وما يعلنون أولم يرى الإنسان أنا خلقناه من نطفة فإذا هو خصيم مبين وضرب لنا مثلا ونسي خلقه قال من يحيي العظام وهي رميم قل يحييها الذي أنشأها أول مرة وهو بكل خلق عليم الذي جعل لكم من الشجر الأخضر نارا فإذا أنتم منه توقدون أوليس الذي خلق السماوات والأرض بقادر على أن يخلق مثلهم بلى وهو الخلاق العليم إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون فسبحان الذي بيده ملكوت كل شيء وإليه ترجعون फातिहा।
मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद सलवात। ख्वाब में ज़हरा ने बाबा को जो देखा एक शब, खुश हुई पास में बाबा के, चली जाऊंगी अब हाय रोने लगी बच्चों का ख्याल आ गया जब, ये खबर ही ना हुई पास हुसैन आ गए कब। अम्मा ढूंढेंगे कहा याद अगर आएंगी, हम तो मर जाएंगे गर आप चली जाएंगी। माँ ने जब ये सुना दिल तड़पने लगा, प्यार करते हुए फातिमा ने कहा, देखो हुसैन मेरे हुसैन ऐसे नहीं कहते, देखो हुसैन माँ किसी की हमेशा रही है कभी, मैं भी बिछड़ी थी अम्मा से बचपन में ही, माँ के जाने का दुख तो बहुत था मगर, देखो मैं भी तो बिन माँ के जीती रही, तुमको मेरी कसम तुमसे बिछड़े जो हम, जब्त करना है लाल माँ का ये गम। देखो हुसैन मेरे हुसैन ऐसे नहीं कहते, देखो हुसैन हाल मैंने किसी को सुनाया नहीं, खुद तो रोई अली को बताया नहीं, मेरा पहलू शिकस्ता है बस इसलिए अपने सीने से तुझको लगाया नहीं, टूटी है पसलियाँ कर ना पाई बयां, कितनी तकलीफ में जी रही है ये माँ, देखो हुसैन मेरे हुसैन ऐसे नहीं कहते, देखो हुसैन मुझको मालूम तुम है मेरे नूरे नज़र, प्यास लगती है तुमको बहुत रात भर, प्यास सहने की आदत भी डालो ज़रा, प्यासा रहना पड़े कब कहाँ क्या खबर, प्यास तुमको लगे और ना पानी मिले, ये दुआ है कि वो दिन ना आए कभी। देखो हुसैन, ए मेरे दिल मेरे चैन मेरे हसीन, ना परेशान हो माँ अभी है यही, देखो मरने की अब बात करना नहीं, मौत से पहले हम मर न जाए कहीं, तुम हो दुनिया मेरी तुमसे है जिंदगी, तुमको देखूं तो चलती है सांसें मेरी। देखो हुसैन, दिन वो आया कि जब चल बसी फातिमा, माँ की मैयत पे शबीर ने दी सदा, तुम बुलाओगी तो पास आऊँगा मैं, टूटे बंदे कफन फातिमा ने कहा, आ जाए मेरी जान तुझ पे कुर्बान माँ, जब हुसैन आके लिपटे तो बोली ए माँ, देखो हुसैन मेरे हुसैन, ऐसे नहीं कहते। मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु।
पर मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु। जैसी गम की सताई है ये फातिमा, ऐसी मजलूम बीबी न गुजरी कोई, जैसी गम की सताई है ये फातिमा, ऐसी मजलूम बीबी न गुजरी कोई, क्यों न सर पीट कर रो ए अहले अज़ा, ऐसी मजलूम बीबी न गुजरी कोई, तुझ पे इतने मसाइब पड़े फातिमा, तुझको सुबत अलैया भी कहना पड़ा, तुझ पे इतने मसाइब पड़े फातिमा, तुझको सुबत अलैया भी कहना पड़ा, खून रुलाता है ज़हरा तेरा मरसिया, ऐसी मजलूम बीबी न गुजरी कोई, आज भी सुन के होता है टुकड़े जिगर, मर गया है मोहसिन सा तेरा पिसर। आज भी सुन के होता है टुकड़े जिगर, मर गया है मोहसिन सा तेरा पिसर। जुल्म ऐसा किसी पर न देखा गया, ऐसी मजलूम बीबी न गुजरी कोई। पहलू कुछ इस तरह से शिकस्ता हुआ, मरते दम तक भी सब जख्म ताजा रहा। पहलू कुछ इस तरह से शिकस्ता हुआ, मरते दम तक भी सब जख्म ताजा रहा। थाम रहती थी हर दम उसे फातिमा, ऐसी मजलूम बीबी न गुजरी कोई। सैयदा तेरी गुर्बत पे लाखों सलाम, तुझको रोया ज़माने का साबिर इमाम। सैयदा तेरी गुर्बत पे लाखों सलाम, तुझको रोया ज़माने का साबिर इमाम। गुस्ल के वक्त जब देखा पहलू तेरा, ऐसी मजलूम बीबी न गुजरी कोई। जालिमों ने रुलाया जिसे उम्र भर, और फिर जुल्म ढाए गए कब्र पर। जालिमों ने रुलाया जिसे उम्र भर, और फिर जुल्म उठाए गए कब्र पर। आज भी जिसका रोजा है उजड़ा हुआ, ऐसी मजलूम बीबी न गुजरी कोई। इतने गम सैयदा ने उठाए जफर, साल 18वां फिर भी खम थी कमर। थे ज़ईफ़ी के आसार अहले अज़ा, ऐसी मजलूम बीबी न गुजरी कोई। जैसी गम की सताई है ये फातिमा, ऐसी मजलूम बीबी न गुजरी कोई। सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि मोहम्मद।
For the souls of the marhumeen, it's a birthday of marhuma, and marhum has recently passed away. For their souls and all of the souls of all the marhumeen, of those present, and the marhumeen of the lovers of Sayyida Fatima Zahra Salamullah alayha and her household, Surah Al-Mubarakat Al-Fatiha. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen ar-Rahman ar-Rahim Malik yawmiddin. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'een. Ihdina as-sirata al-mustaqim, sirata alladhina an'amta alayhim ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. There's also a request as someone who is ill for the recitation of the wird of Amman Yujib 5 times for their shifa ajila kamila. Let's recite together with the barakat of a salawat ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Amman yujibu al-mudtarra idha da'ahu wa yakshifu as-su'. أمن يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء أمن يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء أمن يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء أمن يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء. By the sake of Sayyida Fatima Zahra wa abiha wa ba'liha wa baniha wa sirr al-mustawdi' fiha, may Allah give him shifaya ajila kamila, and for all those who are ill, those who are suffering, those who are in any distress in this dunya around the world, by the haqq of Sayyida Zahra salamullah alayha wa bil haqq al-maqam al-mahmud indaha, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alleviate these difficulties from their lives, and especially the lives of the mu'mineen who are the lovers of Sayyida Zahra salamullah alayha. Let's begin the majlis with a loud salat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. But before I begin, could you all stand and move forward to make way for the mu'mineen who are coming in, inshallah. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين بارئ الخلائق أجمعين فاطر السماوات والأرضين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين وحبيب إله العالمين النبي المؤيد والرسول المسدد المصطفى الأمجد أبي القاسم محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. اللهم صل ورحمة الله على مواليهم وشيعتهم ومحبيهم أجمعين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم من يوم عداوتهم إلى قيام يوم الدين. أما بعد، فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في كتابه المجيد: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا أعطيناك الكوثر صدق الله العلي العظيم. بر محمد وآل محمد صلوات. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. In honor of Sayyidat Nisa al-Alameen, the mother of Hassan and Husayn, the daughter of Rasulullah, Sayyida Fatima al-Zahra al-Zakiyat al-Zakiyat al-Tahirat al-Shahidat al-Madhluma, صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. on this occasion of the commemoration of the Shahada of Sayyida Kaunain, we give our ta'ziyat to the Imam of our time, Al-Hujjat ibn al-Hasan, Sahib al-Asr wal-Zaman. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And to every mu'min in whose heart is the love of this household, and in whose heart is grief and sorrow on such occasions. Because this sorrow and this grief, this huzn, will only be in the heart of those who understand somewhat small parts of her life, have a bit of ma'rifah of who Sayyida Fatima az-Zahra was. What can we know when Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq alayhi salam says that she is like the night of Qadr? وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا لَيْلَةُ الْقَدْرِ وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَنْ فَاطِمَةُ الزَّهْرَةُ. Who is she? And in the same way that we have 3 nights of the night of Qadr, Allah has purposely kept it a mystery. In the same, and the scholars explain that, why do we have 3 nights of the nights of Qadr, the 3 possible nights, is so that we do what we want to do on the night of Qadr times 3. And it is more opportunity, and we get the thawab, we get the ajr for 3 nights, not just 1 night. The night of Qadr is khayrun min alfi shahr. There's 1 night that is Laylatul Qadr. But then we have 2 other nights where we will be given the ajr of Laylatul Qadr. In the same way with Sayyida Fatima az-Zahra salamullah alayha, a part of her madhulumiyyat is that we don't know when she was buried. We don't know which day, which night she passes away. And we have 3 nights that are there in front of us. 3 days that are recorded in history. There are more than that, in fact, but there are 3 days which the riwayat have considerable value. And the least probable night is 40 days after the Shahadat of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad. In Rabi' al-Thani. And then the second night is the 13th of Jumad al-Ula, which is today, based on the riwayat that she passes away from this dunya 75 days after the passing of Rasulullah. And then we have the third riwayat of 95 days after the Shahadat of Rasulullah. And that we will get to at the beginning of December, inshallah ta'ala. We have 3 nights. And we have chosen 2 of those nights to commemorate, to have these majalis. It's most likely one of these 2 nights. The riwayat that this night is based on is in Al-Kafi, is in a number of, in Basair al-Darajat, there's a number of key books. The next night, on the 3rd of Jumad al-Thaniya, we have Sheikh Mufid, Sheikh Tusi, Sayyid ibn Tawus, and other great scholars recording that date as well. But it is as if, when Imam Sadiq alayhi salam compares her to the night of Qadr, it's as if he is, there's a sir, a raz, some kind of secret that is aloof from us. And in the same way, we cannot comprehend the night of Qadr. We cannot comprehend who is this lady. What role did she play in this dunya? In the 18 years of her life, according to what is mashhur. These 18 years, this legacy that she leaves in this dunya, more than Karbala, when the Muslims ask their questions about what happened after the Rihlat of Rasulullah, after the passing away of Rasulullah, when they ask those questions and they receive the answers, spoken to many of the Sunni who have become Shi'as, what made them turn from the madrasa of Khilafah, the madrasa of Saqifa, to the madrasa of the Ahl al-Bayt and the madrasa of Ghadir. It is the dhulm that Sayyida Zahra salamullah alayha had to face. It is so much a part and parcel of our madhab. It's only those who are ignorant of the value of Sayyida Zahra salamullah alayha who will play down the masa'ib and the madhlumiyat of Janab Zahra. When they would say that she never had a door, so what was burned? There was no door burning that happened. There was no doors in those times. And others, very simplistic things, and there might be Sadat, there might be Mu'ammam, there might be scholars, there might be researchers, but I don't know what kind of ma'rifah is lacking there. And why this needs to be even mentioned, even as a historical analysis amongst the mu'mineen. Why would it need to be mentioned that a door didn't exist for the door of Sayyida Zahra, the house of Sayyida Zahra? History records in detail the kind of door that the wives of Rasulullah had. That was it a single door or a double door? Which wood was it made from? If the azwaj of Rasulullah, they are Ummahat al-Mu'mineen, yes, they are. And they had doors to their homes, to their rooms. What about Ummu Abiha? The one that Rasulullah says that she is like my mother, not Ummul Mu'mineen. Wouldn't Rasulullah ensure that she has a door as well? The lady who had such iffa and such tahara and such hijab that when a blind man comes, she covers herself and she says that she knows that the blind man is here, whether the blind man knows whether she is here or not. This is her tahara, this is her hijab, this is her iffat. And she doesn't have a door. These are the ridiculous things. For God knows why these things are mentioned and thrown around. But due to the situation of the Shias over the centuries from that moment onwards, such things couldn't be said openly. We know the story of that old lady who, when she falls in Kufa, Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam is there visiting in Kufa with his companions there. And one companion comes late. He arrives there late. And when he arrives late, he says to the Imam, he says, I saw something that broke my heart. I saw an old lady, when she fell to the ground, she invoked the curses of Allah upon the killers of Sayyida Zahra. And as she said it, the shurta was there, the police was there, and they arrested her. And this caused me a great amount of grief. Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam, when he hears this, he doesn't see it, he just hears it, the musibah, the masa'ib of a lady who is a lover of Sayyida Zahra, who understands the mazlumiyat of Sayyida Zahra. He weeps profusely, he cries and cries. And then he takes himself and his companions to Masjid al-Sahala. And he does ibadat, he prays to Allah, he goes to sajda, he sends someone to the prison where she is, and he says, because of our du'as in Masjid al-Sahala, she will be freed. You will see that she will be freed. This is how much Imam Sadiq alayhi salam went out of his way for someone who did the la'nat upon the killers of Sayyida Zahra. And there are those who call themselves the Shia of Ali Muhammad, the Shia of the offspring of Sayyida Zahra, and they say Umar did a few nice things as well. No. We should be proud Rafidis. This Rafid that should be sitting in our hearts, it should dictate our actions. It should guide us towards the right path. Janab al-Zahra salamullah alayha taught us in these 18 years so many beautiful lessons. Beautiful lessons. And one of the things that, when we want to, she was the focal point. She was the mahar and the markaz of qarabat Rasulullah. No one in the entirety of existence can claim proximity to Rasulullah without the proximity of Sayyida Zahra salamullah alayha. Yeah. No one can claim that they are close to Rasulullah, they are friends of Rasulullah, they are the ashab of Rasulullah without the rida of Sayyida Zahra salamullah alayha. And when she sees in her lifetime and her final moments people moving away from Rasulullah, when she sees them moving away from Amir al-Mu'mineen, and a handful of people speaking up, in the days before we know the events that happened, and history, because of censorship, history hasn't been recorded in a way that we have things chronologically recorded in the exact way it happened. But the hujum, the attack on the house of Sayyida Zahra, everything that happened before, everything that happened after, the usurpation of Fadak, everything that she was seeing, she and Imam Ali alayhi salam went to the houses of the Ansar. And then she pleaded to the people who call themselves the Ansar. In that famous khutbah, she gave one khutbah that is alive in our hearts today as well. Alive in our mahafil. It's a khutbah that's not just about the madhlumiyat. She explains Islam. Just like Inna a'ataynaka al-kawthar explains Islam in its holistic way. And Ayatul Kawthar, Surah Al-Kawthar explains to us, it delivers a message to every friend and every foe of Islam that Islam will continue whichever enemies there are and whatever they do. It will continue. Inna shani'aka huwal abtar. But it doesn't mean these enemies who are abtar will not attempt what they have attempted throughout the ages, to eradicate Islam from within and outside of Islam. But one thing that hurts Sayyida Zahra, if we want proximity to Rasulullah, if we want to say we are Muhammadiyun, we got to be Fatimiyun as well. We got to be Fatimi first. And what hurt Fatima? The fact that everyone left her house. And when they did come, they came with fire and threats. They came with the worst of intentions. They went to the others' houses, but not the house and not the door where there was knowledge, where there was taharat, where there was a revelation of the Quran. No. That hurt her. But these few individuals, when we go to the riwayat of Imam al-Hasan al-Askari alayhi salam, where he says, Durud wajah Muhammad Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. It's very difficult to speak of this personality in such a short period of time. But when the Imam, the 11th Holy Imam, he says that we are the hujjats upon you all, and Sayyida al-Tahira, our mother is hujjat over us. What does he mean? What does it mean in regards to this hujjiyat? Ye hujjiyat kya cheez hai? Agar do gawah aa jaएं, कह दें कि हमने हिलाल देख लिया है, उसकी एक हुज्जत है, हुज्जियत है, ये हुज्जत है हमारे लिए, उसी पर फिर अमल करना है. अगर कोई मर्जिअ मुज्तहिद जामिअ शराइत, कोई फ़क़ीह है जामिअ शराइत फतवा दे, मैं उनका मुक़ल्लिद हूँ, तो ये वो फतवा भी मेरे लिए हुज्जत है. इमाम का कौल और मासूम का कौल भी हुज्जत है. रसूल का कौल भी हुज्जत है, अल्लाह का कलाम भी हुज्जत है, लेकिन हुज्जियत में फ़र्क है। हुज्जियत के दरजात, there are levels of हुज्जियत. हुज्जियत, I mean authority. Such authority that I will now act upon it. But when we compare these hujjats that we have, the hujjiyat of the bayyana, as we say in Arabic, yani agar do gawah aa jaएं, if two witnesses come and they're both adil, there's a shart there that they both have to be adil. There's another shart that no two other witnesses come and make a counterclaim. There's no yameen, no oath by the opposite sides that is given. You know, there's a number of shara'it, meaning that this hujjiyat is mahdud, it is restricted, it is limited in its nature. When someone says, I saw the moon, and science, all together, they come together, and all the scientists and all the data tells us that the moon can't be seen. Look at the fatwa of Sayyida Sistani and other scholars, that the hujjiyat becomes saqita. There's no authority for these witnesses now, because they saw the moon where we have qata'an yaqeen that the moon cannot be seen. They might have been mistaken. There is human error there, possible. But when we get to the hujjiyat of the qawl of the ma'soom, the fi'l of the ma'soom, anything that comes from the ma'soom, from the infallible, from the impeccable, that's a level of hujjiyat that is beyond reproach. Anything that comes up against it, jo kuch bhi aa jaye us hujjat ke muqabale mein, unko ठोकर मारेंगे. कोई भी उठे, अगर हुजूर सरवर कायनात सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम, अल्लाहुम्मा सल्ली अला मुहम्मद व आले मुहम्मद, अगर कहें कि ये ज़मीन मेरी है, कोई मुसलमान गवाही मांगेगा? कोई मुसलमान, कोई मुस्लिम, कोई मोमिन गवाही मांगेगा, शहूद मांगेगा, दलील मांगेगा? हाँ, किसी ने जब मांगा था, खुज़ैमा इब्न थाबित का किस्सा है. This is a story of Husayn ibn Thabit, one of those loyal companions who rejected Saqifa openly. After the first caliph was elected in this meeting, he goes to the mimbar where he is and he says that I am Dhu Shahadatain. And I'll get to the story of why he became Dhu Shahadatain. The one who's one gawahi is one person, one testimony. It is equivalent to two people testifying. He says, I testify while you know and everyone knows that I am Dhu Shahadatain. I heard from the Rasulullah saying that my Ahl al-Bayt are the Imams after me, that if you follow them, you will be guided. When Amir al-Mu'mineen is in Kufa and he says that who will testify that on Ghadir Rasulullah has said, Man kuntu mawlahu fahada aliyun mawla. All the narrators say that on the top of the list there's 17 men who stood, and at the top of the list, and every one of those lists is Husayn ibn Thabit. He was shaheed in the Battle of Siffin. But other historical reports, but we go to Nahj al-Balagha to understand his status, understand his maqam. Remember, he is a Sahabi. He is not from the Bani Hashim. He is not from the Ahl al-Bayt. He is an Ansari. He is from Aus. Yes? He is like you and me, or what you and I can become. It's possible, the potential that we have. In khutbah number 182 or 192, Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam, he says, when lamenting over his brothers, he says, Ikhwani, imagine this, not his followers, not his Shias, he's saying, my brothers who have gone now. He says, Aina Ammar ibn Yasir, Aina ibn Tayyahan, Aina Husayn, Aina dhu Shahadatain, he says. Where are they gone, those who were upon the path of Haqq? He said this shortly before his Shahadat. He was gathering the army for the fourth battle that was inherited by Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam, and that eventually fell. But this is his lamentations for someone like Dhu Shahadatain, Khuzaymah ibn Thabit. Who was he? When the Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad, when he is a report, it's reported in his Sunni and Shia history. He goes to the market and he agrees with a man from the Arab, a Muslim, supposedly a Muslim, that I will buy your horse. The deal is done, the contract is signed. Rasulullah goes to his house to get his money. He comes to that man. Meanwhile, in his absence, the munafiqeen in Medina tell him that you're selling this horse at a very low price to him. You've underpriced it. They try to stop him from selling this horse to Rasulullah. Rasulullah comes, he denies having any contract. The Prophet says, no, we have agreed. He says, no, we never. When did we agree? Then he says, if we have agreed, bring a witness. Bring a witness. Now, when we ask any Muslim, what is your opinion of someone asking Rasulullah for a witness? They will say he is if he claims to be a Muslim, he is the biggest of the munafiqeen. He is the biggest of the munafiqeen. He is a kafir in his heart if he claims to be a Muslim. He is asking Rasulullah for a witness. But then someone goes through this crowd, a crowd emerges. Many, many ashab. Any one of them could have said what Khuzaymah had said. Any one of them. But Khuzaymah comes to Rasulullah, he asks what's happened. The Arab, the Bedouin, he says, this is a dispute. He says, I testify, Ya Rasulullah, that you have bought this. He says, you weren't even here. Rasulullah said, do you testify with your eyes as well? He says, if I have testified of a God that I haven't seen because of your say-so, अगर अनदेखे खुदा को उस पर ईमान लाया हूँ आपके कहने पर. So when you say that you have bought this horse in this mu'amala, how can I not testify to the fact of this? This is a yaqeen that Sayyida Zahra did not see around her. In the khutbah of Fadak, she pleads to the Ansar, where is that iman gone? In the records that we have, 4 ashab from the Ansar rejected, just 4, rejected the Saqifa. Amongst them is Khuzaymah ibn Thabit, and then Abu Ayyub al-Ansari, Ibn Tayyahan, and Sahal ibn Hunayf. Amongst some of the Muhajirin like Salman and Miqdad and Abu Dharr and Ammar and Abdullah ibn Abbas and a few others. Just 4 Ansar, those who gave their homes for the sake of Rasulullah, invited Rasulullah to their homes, to Medina, to Yathrib. But what happened to them? How much sorrow would Sayyida feel seeing this, witnessing what is happening? What was lacking were people like Khuzaymah who would say the truth and testify to it. Have that courage, have that faith and tawakkul upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that where they see dhulm, they will speak up. Especially the dhulm against Ali Muhammad alayhi salatu wassalam. A great lesson that we need to learn from Sayyida. If we claim to be those who are the lovers of this household, who follow these imams, Imam al-Hasan al-Askari alayhi salam says, we, the sons of Zahra, We may be hujjat upon you, but Sayyida is hujjat upon us. Understand from her ibadat, from her zuhud, these lessons. And the kind of zuhud and ibadat, another lesson for us to understand from. The kind of ibadat that she did in her mihrab, the riwayat says that 70,000, whenever she stood in her mihrab for ibadat, 70,000 angels will descend for his ziyarat just to watch her do ibadat. Just to watch her ibadat, how she does dhikr. And the greatest of the adhkar that Rasulullah has taught humanity, he taught tasbih al-Zahra salamullah alayha. And the Imams have said that if there was another dhikr, another set of adhkar that was better than this, that would have been called tasbih al-Zahra. And she, Imam al-Hasan al-Mujtaba alayhi salam narrates, Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. He narrates that my mother would begin her ibadat on Shab-e Jum'ah at Maghrib. She will not leave the mihrab until she has offered her Fajr prayer, until the light of the morning has properly emerged. And she will end her ibadat doing dua for everybody but herself. And then he asks that you do dua for everybody but not you. And she says those famous words, Al-jar thumma ad-dar. Sabke liye duaएं कर रही हैं. She was doing dua for everybody, her neighbors, everybody in Medina, everyone in this world. Al-jar, not al-jar al-Muslim, not al-jar al-Muhib al-Shia. Al-jar thumma ad-dar. You look at others and their needs before your own needs. This is a message that has many different levels. But we understand the greatness of the Madhlumiyat, that when she is doing dua for everyone, she hasn't forgotten anyone, all the poor, all those who are in any problems and distresses in this dunya. And who is there to help her, to support her? In her hour of need, in the moment, when she in her ibadat is remembering everyone, those who were gonna be the ones who will just be silent when the dhulm is happening. They were neighbors. There were those whose wives would come to Sayyida Zahra to learn Islam. Their daughters would come to Sayyida Zahra to learn Islam. But where were they? If they didn't want to speak up in this case of Fadak, where were they when these henchmen came to bring fire to that door? This Abida, this Tahira, how many praises of Rasulullah have they heard of this household, of this lady in particular? How many times have they heard the madah and the fada'il of Sayyida Zahra salamullah alayha? That when she sits in ibadat, the angels who don't descend, those who descend are 70,000, they descend. But those who don't descend, they look towards the earth as a shining beacon. Why? Because on the earth there is a house, the house of Sayyida Zahra, illuminating. That's why she is called Az-Zahra. This is this household. And on this household there are threats given now. Whatever happens after, there are those who are very skeptical of realities and truths. But one thing that is definitely that has happened and recorded in history of friends and foe and everyone, the Sunnis and Shias have all recorded this, that the threats were made. Isn't that enough to prove the nifaq of somebody? to prove the hypocrisy of somebody, to prove the butlan and the invalidity of Saqifa and whatever has ensued from Saqifa. Sayyida Zahra salamullah alayha, what does she teach us? She teaches us to remain steadfast upon our faith. As simple as that. We need her du'as, brothers and sisters. And the way we get her du'as is she sees us behaving as those who were in the house of Sayyida Zahra when Saqifa was happening. The likes of Khuzaymah, the likes of Ammar, the likes of Miqdad and Salman. If she sees that steadfastness, if she sees the things that she loved as well. A quick hadith before I end. She says, 3 things were beloved to me. Tilawatu kitabullah, the recitation of the Quran. An-nadhru ila wajhi Rasulillah, looking upon the face of my father. And al-infaqu fi sabilillah. 3 things she loved. And when she's spending her nights, there are 2 who are reported to have their feet, when they were engrossed, submerged in ibadat. There are 2 individuals that their children report that when they were in their ibadat, their feet would swell up so much. Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam and Sayyida Zahra salamullah alayha. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad. This is her ibadat. She is no less than Imam Zain al-Abidin. The only person that we can compare her to is Imam Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam. Were there no Ali in this dunya, there would be no kuf of Sayyida Zahra. No one for Sayyida to marry. But then she lived as a wife. She lived as a mother. She lived as a daughter. So many. Time is up now for this majlis. But even as she is rocking and taking care of her children, she has a tasbih in her hands. And someone says that, take care of your children, and then you could do the tasbih and the dhikr and ibadat later. She says, no, it's aisa na ho ke Allah ke haq mein adayegi karte karte bachchon ka haq na ada ho. Aur bachchon ke huquq ko ada karne mein aisa na ho ke Allah ka haq mein koi kotahi ho. It's not just ibadat, it's about huquq al-nas, it's about al-infaq fi sabilillah. It's about al-jar thumma ad-dar. We see humanity in this household. We see sincerity in this household. We see the peaks of ibadat in this household. How dare anybody then compare us or any human being to this household? Between us and them, there is every level of angels. Malaika ka har tabaka darmiyan mein hai, to kis tarah muqayasa kiya jaye? But upon this household, untold masa'ib and madhalim we see, and as I said, there are untold madhalim as well. Such madhlumiyat that haven't been recorded. Like there are fada'il not recorded, either because of the animosity against the fada'il or because of the shiddat upon the mu'mineen. There are masa'ib that haven't been recorded. And what we know is just a tip of the iceberg. So when we think of the madhalim, the dhulm, the oppression, the suppression, the animosity against the bloodline of Sayyid al-Mursaleen, against this house, against this door of knowledge, this door of taharat. Imagine what else has happened that we don't know of. There is one riwayat that tells us when someone asks of something like Karbala, is anything like Karbala that has happened in Medina? Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, he says there is a lane in Medina, a street in Medina, that when Sayyida Zahra was walking back to her home after Fadak was initially granted to her, she is heading back. One zalim comes and kicks her to the ground. This is the tamheed of Karbala. This is the introduction of Karbala. We look to Karbala. We mourn day and night. We have the flame in our hearts, the harara in our hearts, so Sayyida Shuhada. लेकिन अगर करबला को समेटा जाए तो मदीना मुनव्वरा की गलियां नजर आती हैं. वो दर नजर आता है कि जो सैयदा का दर था, और उस दर पे आग है. There is fire there. Fire of the enemies. Days after the burning of Islam, the final messenger passes away. What do they do to the daughter of that very messenger? What do they do to the grandchildren of that very messenger? Don't forget, we have Zainab there, we have Kulthum there, we have Hassan and Husayn there, we have Ali ibn Abi Talib there, but he cannot do anything for the hukum of Allah and the hukum of Rasulullah. Sayyida goes to the door. She goes to the door, and what does she face? Men with fire in their hands. She faces men saying, we will set fire to this house. She says, they are just children. There's a lot of that is leading up to this. Time does not allow me. Khuzaimah was there, Salman was there, Imam Ali told them all to leave. Right now there's only Ali and his children in this household. And Sayyida says, there's only my children here. And Ali doesn't want to talk to you. After all the back and forth, Ali doesn't want to talk to you anymore. And they says, no, we will bring him out. They bring fire to that door. The door is held in place with nails. Yeah. It's held in place by nails. And this nail is made of iron. And when an iron is heated, imagine the heat. It wasn't a door that fell upon Sayyida Zahra. It was a door on fire. It wasn't a nail that pierced the side of Zahra. It was a nail that was burning hot. Until her Shahada, she keeps this pain. And until her Shahada, when we go to Medina, Akhri Jumla, when we go to Medina, let us not withhold our tears. Karbala begins here in Medina, brothers and sisters. Karbala begins here. When we go to the Mazar of Sayyid al-Mursaleen, when there beside his grave there is a house of Zahra. It's not there, but historians have indicated that where Bab Jibreel is, that is around where the door of Sayyida was. So cry there and weep there. Lament there. Nobody needs to know why you are lamenting. But in your heart, know this is where Sayyida Zahra fell to the ground. This is where she shed her blood. The first blood that was shed from the women of Sayyidah of this household. This is where Muhsin was shaheed. This is when she cried out to Rasulullah. This is when she cried out to Fidda, Ya Fidda Khudini, O Fidda, my Muhsin is a shaheed. إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. ماتم زهرة.
Ya Husayn, कब्र ज़हरा बना रहे हैं अली, अपनी गुर्बत छुपा रहे हैं अली। कब्र ज़हरा बना रहे हैं अली, छुपा रहे हैं अली। क्यों कमर झुके गए हैं मौला की, क्यों कमर झुके गए हैं मौला की। किसकी मैयत उठा रहे हैं अली, अपनी गुर्बत छुपा रहे हैं अली। कब्र ज़हरा अपनी गुर्बत छुपा रहे हैं अली। वक्त तलक़ी ने ज़ख्मी शानों को, वक्त तलक़ी ने ज़ख्मी शानों को धीरे धीरे हिला रहे हैं अली, अपनी गुर्बत छुपा रहे हैं अली। कब्र ज़हरा बना रहे छुपा रहे हैं अली। सामना हो गया है कुनफज़ से, सामना हो गया है कुनफज़ से। सब्र को आज़मा रहे हैं अली, अपनी गुर्बत छुपा रहे हैं अली। कब्र ज़हरा बना अपनी गुर्बत छुपा रहे अली। अपनी गर्दन पे नीले रस्सी का, अपनी गर्दन पे नीले रस्सी का बेटियों से छुपा रहे हैं अली, अपनी गुर्बत छुपा रहे हैं अली। कब्र ज़हरा छुपा रहे हैं अली। रात होंगी दो देंगे गुस्लो कफन, रात होंगी दो देंगे गुस्लो कफन। आसमां दे के जा रहे हैं अली, अपनी गुर्बत छुपा रहे हैं अली। कब्र ज़हरा देते जाते हैं गुस्ल बीबी को, हाय देते जाते हैं गुस्ल बीबी को। हिचकिया लेते जा रहे हैं अपने हुर्बा छुपा रहे हैं, अपने हुर्बा छुपा रहे हैं।
Husayn, Ya Husayn, Ya Husayn, हसनैन बोले रोकर अम्मा कहाँ चली हो, 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 वीरान करके ये घर अम्मा कहाँ चली हो, हसनैन बोले रोकर अम्मा कहाँ चल। नाना नहीं है सर पे तुम भी चली जहाँ से, नाना नहीं है सर पे तुम भी चली जहाँ से, मर जाएंगे तड़प कर अम्मा कहाँ चली हो, हसनैन बोले रोकर अम्मा कहाँ चली हो, हसनैन बोले रोकर अम्मा कहाँ चल। ओ अम्मा जरा तो बोलो आंखें तो अपनी खोलो, अम्मा जरा तो बोलो आंखें तो अपनी खोलो, चलता है दिल पे खंजर अम्मा कहाँ चली हो, हसनैन बोले रोकर अम्मा कहाँ चली। बहनों का हाल देखो बाबा का हाल देखो, बहनों का हाल देखो बाबा का हाल देखो, सब रो रहे हैं मिलकर अम्मा कहाँ चली हो, हसनैन बोले रोकर अम्मा। ओ फीजा है सर झुकाए अपने जिगर को थामे, फीजा है सर झुकाए अपने जिगर को थामे, दे दे न जाने रोकर अम्मा कहाँ चली हो, हसनैन बोले रोकर अम्मा कहाँ चल। ओ सुल्तान दस्ते ज़हरा बाहर कफन से निकले, सुल्तान दस्ते ज़हरा बाहर कफन से निकले, जिस वक्त बोले सरवर अम्मा कहाँ चली हो, हसनैन बोले रोकर अम्मा कहाँ चली हो। या हुसैन हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन।
अस्सलामु अलैका या रसूल अल्लाह, अस्सलामु अलैका या नबी अल्लाह, السلام عليك يا حبيب الله. السلام عليك يا مولاي يا أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب. السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدة النساء العالمين. السلام عليك أيتها الصديقة الشهيدة. السلام عليك أيتها الرزية المرضية. السلام عليك أيتها الفاضلة الزكية. السلام عليك أيتها الهوراء الإنسية. السلام عليك أيتها التفية النكية. السلام عليك أيتها المجدسة الأليمة. السلام عليك أيتها المظلومة المغصوبة. السلام عليك أيتها المزتهدة المقهورة. السلام عليك يا فاطمة بنت رسول الله ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا مولاي يا حسن المجتبى. السلام عليك يا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله الحسين الشهيد بكربلاء. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا مولانا يا علي بن الحسين زين العابدين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي. السلام عليك يا مولانا يا حجة القائم المهدي الإمام المنتظر صاحب الزمان. السلام عليك يا خليفة الرحمن. السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن. السلام عليك يا كعبة الإيمان. السلام عليك يا إمامنا وإمام الإنس والجان. أجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله مخرجك وزهورك وجعلنا من أنصارك وشيعتك وزوارك ومحبيك. السلام عليكم يا شهداء كربلاء جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الله حسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرزك توعا وتمتعه